this week's edition of the MMA Huddle. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming right now. I'm actually going to jump in on my phone to see if I can see it streaming. Let's see if it comes up. Is it saying anything? One waiting. That's good. Right. It should come up in a moment. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break down the Stephen Thompson against Geoff Neal fight card, which is stacked. It's absolutely ridiculous. 15 fights on the card. Could not get my head around how many guys they've got on this and girls. It's a combination of a couple of fights that kind of got delayed in the last few weeks. They just shifted them over just to fit them in. And we are live. Here we go. We're streaming on Super Stuff. It's popped up on YouTube. So look, I'm joined as always by Big Willie Style. Give us a like on the button down below because it helps hugely with the analytics. You don't realize what a big difference hitting that like button makes on the analytics to get out there. Comment as well your bets, your picks. We'd love to know what you're thinking with this fight card coming up and how your year went, guys, because it's the last card of the year. It's a bonanza card. It's our last card of the year. We'd love to know how your bets went for the year, your picks. Did you have a good year? Did you enjoy this year of MMA? We had COVID hit us, and then me and Will have been on an onslaught, haven't we, brother, since the card started again. It's been nonstop. I can't wait for Christmas, which is weird for me to say because I'm a bar humbug Scrooge, but I can't wait to have no fight tape study to do for a few weeks. Just let my brain just simmer down. As an overall, bro, how are you doing for Christmas coming up, man? Because like we say, it's not that. It's 10 days. Well, from recording, we're 10 days away, so to speak, or something like that. How's things with you, brother?
Yeah, no, everything's good on my end. Just it's getting here quicker than I thought it was going to be. As soon as it hit December, it's just like we're already in the middle of the month, so it's just like Christmas is going to be here before we know it. So I'm like yourself. I've got a wee girl now that's just loves Christmas, so she's gonna kind of go nuts over that, and she's counting down the days and everything else there. But really happy kind of get on the streaming side of things instead of the previous things what we're doing there. So guys, if you're out there watching and you've got some comments below, hit them there. I will bring them up on the screen. We can have a little conversation about it. Like I say, this is something that I feel that for the channel is going to be more beneficial for us, and because John does all the editing, he does all the hard work after we finish this. So just coming on here, shooting the shit with this and not having to really edit all that much outside of descriptions and pics and stuff like that, I think it's going to help. And then we can be more interactive with you guys that are watching as well. So like John said, hit that comment button, let us know who you're picking in these fights, and hit that subscribe button and help grow the channel. So I'm all good. I'm looking forward to kind of getting this one out the road, having a few weeks off, because like you say, it's been a long old stretch since May pretty much. So yeah, let's kind of get into it.
Yeah, bro. And like you said, this will be a bit smooth for us. Last week, we had tons of you guys joining the comments section below, which was fantastic when we posted that video. It was great of you all to join in. Let's start this card. We are going to do this structure we've had in place, which is we do the main card, then we do the kind of rough overview on the prelims, which there is a freaking lot of. So let's kick off, bro. Welterweight division. You have Anthony Pettis against Alex Morono. Interesting bout, bro, because you've got a guy who's a kind of superstar at one point, and then you've got Alex Morono, who's just a savage in his own right. What are you looking forward to in this fight, man?
Well, I'm going to be looking forward to an Anthony Pettis fight because he is one of the guys I've always been a massive fan of, a big admirer of his skill set. He's one of the old guard now, so he's probably closer to his way out than he is really challenging for titles or fighting in those big top 5 fights anymore. But I like the fact that he's jumped in here on short notice. I don't really like Pettis at 170, I'll be honest with you. But if you've got a fight that's offered to you and you're in shape, and I know he's been flying kind of around different places. He's been in South America where he's been training at different gyms and doing bits and pieces. And so he's jumped in here, and I like the fact that, like I say, he's jumped in here. And Reece McKee, that Alex Morono was facing, he fought not long ago, didn't really take all too much damage, really had a dominant performance there, jumped into it. I like that. This is a big fight for Alex Morono because he's got like a guy with a lot of name recognition. If you go from Reece McKee, who's a debut guy, to a guy that held a UFC belt, I mean, that's a big jump just for the fans that know the Anthony Pettis name, and he's facing who's this Alex Morono guy. So skill-wise, I feel that depending if Anthony Pettis has been in the gym, which I think he has, I think he's just a little bit too too good everywhere. I know, like I say, I know it's a short notice fight, but it's a short notice fight for both guys. Although Morono was in there probably about a month ago, maybe not even that. So I favour Pettis in the striking exchanges. I think he's a little bit more versatile with his striking. He's always dangerous with his jiu-jitsu. So to me, I'm kind of on Anthony Pettis' side here. I actually think the head kick might be in order here because Morono drops his hands when he's throwing. He's a little bit more flat-footed, and Pettis can get that kick up quick. So I've got Anthony Pettis. I don't know whether he stops him. I think it could be a hard 15-minute fight for both guys, but I've got Anthony Pettis edging it. He can really keep a good tempo with his striking, with his long jab, and he can mix up with his kicks. So to me, I like Anthony Pettis in this one.
Yeah, I love the matchup, because it really is a test for Alex because he's tough, gritted fighter. I know he got sparked by Khaos Williams, but as a whole, like you say, well, he is a tough outlet man. He's a tough all-rounder. I do love watching that guy fight because he's kind of come a long way, even since he started in UFC. He keeps growing, he keeps developing. With Anthony Pettis, we kind of sometimes know what we get. There's one way to beat Anthony Pettis, and that is full-on pressure. There is our friend, UFC betting experience. Cheers for joining in, brother. Pettis minus 200, roughly, maybe a props bet. You look for it. Yeah, that's a good choice, minus 200. That ain't too bad, really. That sounds about right. I think he is a favorite in this fight, and I think it'd be wrong of us not to think that. If you look at the guy's records on skill set of who they fought, Pettis has just fought savage. Alex had that fight against Reese McKee, where he did take a few shots. Reese McKee was starting to find his range a little bit. For me, I felt Reese McKee was letting himself overly exposed. Pettis here, as long as he's not getting pressured too much, which Alex doesn't tend to do too often, that's one thing that Pettis does. If you get the pressure on him constantly, he kind of wilts a bit. He doesn't like it. The wrestling. If I'm a guy, if I'm fighting Pettis, I'm closing that distance. I'm clinching. I'm getting him to the ground. I just want to wrestle. I feel here Alex isn't going to really do that. He's going to open up the striking. I think there'll be good exchanges. But like you said, Will, something that Pettis has got is a sick little head kick and body kicks. He's got great body kicks as well. He really cracks them in, really whips them in hard. Pettis, 170, I feel he's healthier. Yourself, bro. He's got a better chin. He takes the shots a bit better. He seems to kind of outlast a bit longer. I think he should be okay in this spot. I think, this distance management that Pettis can control is good. I think in this one, he should be okay. He should be able to go past an Alex Morono. One thing I always look for, especially with Dana's comments, is we might see a bit more spark, a bit more fire from fighters with Dana's comments as 60-odd fighters plus getting cut. I know they've already started doing them, but, this last year, the card, one L can make a difference, especially if you go out, in a certain way. So I think we might see this last card with a lot more spark, a lot more zealous, and we might see some more entertaining fights than you would do normally. I maybe like to see Dana do that a bit more often, say, look, we're going to look to cut some more guys and girls, upcoming cards. Suddenly you'll get a little fire from fighters and you might get more entertainment. I'm picking Pettis, bro. I think he's got this one as well.
Yeah, I think it's a big fight for Anthony in the spot that all these guys are getting cut, and Pettis is a name guy in the UFC, and he gets a big paycheck. So if they're looking at cutting people off, Pettis, I agree with UFC Ben experience there. Like Pettis at minus 200 is kind of rough, but there is some props there. But Pettis could be one of those names in the chopping block, especially with Sergio being in Bellator, and he could definitely probably make himself more money over there. So
sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get back on those Wheatos cereal boxes. Next up we have, mate, is a heavyweight bout, which is going to be pretty quick for me to break down. We have Marcin Tybura against Greg, the like to hit women Hardy. I'm picking Marcin Tybura here, believe it or not. Shock horror. Mo Sports, good brother, Big Willie styling, yeah. One of the GOATs, yeah, he is. My brother from up in Scotland, speaking Scottinese or Jockinese, as I like to say. Look, guys, Marcin Tybura, I legitimately think Marcin Tybura should win this fight, and that's not even looking at it in any other way. I just think Marcin Tybura is a veteran of the sport. He's actually got not bad skill set. He's actually not got bad cardio. He's got some good head kicks. Like, he's got some good striking on him. He can take a hit. He's, man, I just can't obviously pick. The wife beater. It's just in me. I know people comment before saying, I should forgive and forget. I can't do it. I haven't got it in me. But look, let's look at it. Marcin's got a 3-fight win streak. Let's not forget that as well. Yeah, the decisions. But don't forget, like a win's a win, and in the heavyweight division, he's got a 3-fight win streak. Not a lot of folks there do. John, you're the man as well. Yeah, bro, I keep that keep the beard game strong, my friend. But Marcin Tybura is a big strong guy. He's fought, for me, long term, he's fought the higher level guys over time. You look, he's fought like Orlovsky, Verdum, Derek Lewis, Stefan Struve to a point. He's a veteran of the sport. Let's say he's not new to the game. He's a veteran of the sport. Saki's a bit of a savage. Ben Rothwell as well. Even though Rothwell's not the fighter he used to be, he's still a legitimate guy. He's still a tough outing for anyone in the heavyweight division. We've seen that for years. One of the things you're going to find in this one is, Hardy's fought like Sassoli, meh. Guan Adams, meh. You look at the guys he's fought, Castro, meh. Maurice Green, meh. There's guys on there that he's fought that I think Marcin Tybura's had a stronger fight card on this one. Lots of comments popping up. Great. We'll try and get out to them as best we can. UFC betting, it's good to have you here, bro. I think we might see some grappling from Tybura here. I would like to see grappling as well. I think if he just used the wrestling, really start to nullify Greg Hardy's gas tank on that one. And JR MMA, good to have you here, bro. Great max bet on White King Kong Hadley at Cage Warriors, Will. Yeah, he did do well, Will, that one. And Hadley's a savage. If you guys don't know about Hadley, he's an absolute murderer. He went and killed it in the AFC, and he came Cage Warriors, and it was just almost like it was going to happen. He's just a savage. If he's not signed up by the UFC at the start of next year, I'll be absolutely astonished. But yeah, bro, I'm going Tybura. I think he's actually got the skill set to win this. The kind of the ring experience to get there. I'm going to go, man, with Tybura. Z's MMA in the house.
Yeah. By the way, Z is closing in 1,000 subs.
He is. Yes.
Z is one of the guys I'd love to kind of chat with. He's one of the guys that we don't speak all the time, but when we do, it's always a good time between us. Always a good experience speaking with Z, and he's close to 1,000. He's got his scholarship running, so go and hit that sub button and get him to 1,000 ASAP. So let's go.
He knows his shit.
He does. I love his deep dives on fights, but
yes.
Getting back to you, I'm on the Greg Hardy side. But I mean, when he's made, this is a big fight for like Greg Hardy in this spot, because when he's made that step up, it is when he's made that step up against Volkov, he was outclassed. But that's Volkov with a lot of fights, Tybura with a lot of fights. But I don't think he was out. I thought in the Volkov fight, I actually thought he fought really well. He was just a guy with so much experience and a really hard skill set for maybe a younger type fighter like him to really come through. But I'm sure he's probably learned a lot from that fight, and he's really taken it on into his fights now, where he's kind of got a few more wins. He's got some more experience in the octagon. I like the fact that he's not this kind of big hitting striker is really kind of petered out, where it's not everything in the first round there. He had 15 minutes against De Castro. He had 7-8 minutes against Maurice Green. That all adds up to me. And the fact that I don't think he's at American Top Team anymore. I think he's went with Din Thomas. And
Din Thomas went to his own spot, yeah.
Rashad Evans. So he's got a guy in his corner, a former UFC champion, who's going to mastermind him coming through. Tybura, to me, I think on the feet, I think that I edge kind of Greg Hardy just a little bit. I think Tybura will look to kind of clinch up here, but remember, we're against a former American football player here who's used to that. It's very hard to get down. So it's a close fight to me. I don't know what the betting lines are. Let me just bring that up. Let me see. Is it a pick'em? Did I see a pick'em? Pretty much a pick'em. -115 on Greg Hardy. I lean him ever so slightly. I don't really want to have anything to do with the fight kind of betting wise. I'm going to swerve clear, but I've got my eye on Greg Hardy kind of moving forward for the simple reason I do think he is making improvements. I like the fact he's got a couple of really sound, solid guys. Me and you know about Din Thomas. He is one of the, we've sat down with him and spoke regarding fighters and just his aspect on fights. We did that in Liverpool a couple of years ago. Really great guy, and he indulges in a lot of the kind of inside game as well. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm just edging Greg Hardy via a very close 29-28 decision. But would it surprise me if Tybura used all that experience and maybe it was a vice versa kind of result in the card? It wouldn't, but I'll go with Greg Hardy.
Okay, bro. Liam, great to have you here, man. As always, nice to see you here on the show, bro. Thank you for joining in. Joe, yeah, I'm drinking Monster, guys. I'm a sucker for Monster Energy. Sugar-free, though. Sugar-free. UFC betting. What you saying there? If it goes late rounds, yeah, Hardy may struggle. Yeah, because Tybura, for me, bro, he has a bit of an output, so he could maybe start to just wear on someone, because when a heavyweight hits you, I don't think they have to hit you hard for it to hurt hard, because like 250 pounds or whatever it is, it's still 250 goddamn pounds hitting you. But like you say, well, I think betting wise on any heavyweight stuff, it's a bit iffy sometimes. Certain ones like that, because Tybura could use experience, just get a simple win. You can do like an Orlovsky, get the decision, knows what he's doing, knows how to get the points, off he goes. Next up we have is this is a disgustingly good fight. Marlon Moraes against Rob Font. Like, dang, that's a hell of a fight. Marlon, man, he had this kind of, aura of unbeatable. Everyone kind of just went, this dude is going to smoke. He was destroying people in the bantamweight division. Marlon was flying. Everything felt like he was destined for that title. And all of a sudden, he just started slipping, He lost to Henry Cejudo. Fair enough. He was great first round. Don't get me wrong. He was doing great. And then he just kind of obviously turned around. José Aldo, he got a split decision, which was a bit, let's all be honest, it was a bit iffy. I don't know how much, a draw, if you're going to side towards anyone, just do a draw, because it was, I'd probably say Aldo, but whatever.
I'm Aldo. I was Aldo in that fight.
Yeah, I think Aldo as well, but the way they judged it, I don't know what the hell happened there. And then you had Corey Sandhagen. Goodness gracious me, that dude absolutely murked him. That was woof. And the thing was that spinning wheel kick, it didn't even hit him with the heel. It hit him with like the calf on like the top of the head. It was crazy. Was it an early stoppage? Maybe. Like, he did look a little bit out of it. He could have maybe taken a bit more damage. It actually might help Marlon Moraes, that earlier stoppage long term, for the fights. But man, Rob Font is a talented fighter as well in his own right, and he's on a little 2-fight win streak. My worry for Rob Font is whenever he's fought the upper echelon, let's put it that way, he seems to fall a little bit short. You got the Rafael Assunção fight, the Pedro Munoz fight, John Lineker as well. He's not yet taken that next step. He's always just on the outskirts. Like, his biggest win is that Thomas Almeida fight. But as you and I know, Will, Thomas Almeida at that point wasn't doing that well. He kind of was on a bit of a downward spiral. It felt like he's had that break. He seems obviously healthier in himself. We might see a different Thomas Almeida. I want to hear UFC battle. Front get hurt in every fight. Yeah, bad strikers. I think Marlon hurt him in the finish him. Yeah, that was the thing about it. Marlon Moraes is a lethal striker, and Rob Font is a bit exposed when he strikes. He is open and susceptible to getting hit. And I feel like he does get hit a little bit too much for my liking. And I think the kind of power that Marlon Moraes controls and has in the weight class is something he could use. Is about 4.5-inch reach difference. So it's not too crazy, 4.5-inch reach. Like the Sandhagen fight was a lot more, but I'm kind of swaying towards Marlon Moraes here. I think the leg kicks could be destructive. And I also think the kind of combinations Marlon Moraes can throw. He didn't get starched against Sandhagen, so he's good. It wasn't like a 5-round war. I think Marlon's going to be good with this against Rob Font. I think he should be able to get the win, get that W, and back on the kind of winning side. I just feel like Rob Font might get baited into a striking war, and that's what's going to lose in the fight here. I've got to go with it, man. I've got to go with the boy, Marlon Moraes. Probably maybe second round stoppage if he doesn't get it in the first, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Rob Font here. I actually think
nice.
I like this spot for him. I think that he's a guy that betting-wise I'm kind of looking at a little bit. I'm going to watch the lines like plus 130 for him right now. A little bit higher here in the UK, I think, at the minute. I never had a look. I've not had a look in the last couple of hours, but to me, I'm not thinking Moraes is done, because you can never think something like an explosive guy like that is ever done. But in my opinion, when I watched the Sandhagen fight, I thought he was a little bit kind of, I don't want to say he was scared to throw, but he just didn't throw all that much. I mean, he did not land, I think it was probably 10 punches, I think, in that first.
I think he just couldn't get that range, bro. I think the range threw him off. I think the kind of Sanhagen figure, it is disruptive for that weight class. It's hard to get that distance right. I think it's hard as well for someone like that. You fight a guy in that division who's just looks like a giraffe. It's awkward to get in there.
Yeah, I think as well, Sanhagen's got, I mean, he's got some good technique and his movement's quite different as well. So he maybe just didn't adjust and he couldn't get his shots off. But like I say, I kind of I think as the fight goes on, I think it could be a little bit hairy early on because with Marlon Moraes, he's obviously got that big destructive power, explosive power that he has. And he can knock you out, he can submit you, he can jump on things very, very quickly. So for me here, if I'm betting Rob Font, I'm kind of sweating it a little bit early because I think if it goes into 2 and 3, I think the reach and just the overall output of Rob Font could start to play up and he could win rounds 2 and 3. So that's kind of where I'm on here. But like I say, with Moraes, he's obviously got that explosive head kick, can jump, like I say, jump on chokes. But if it's a high-paced fight, which I think Rob, if he can come out, kind of land as good as he's getting back, and he's tall, I think he's a taller guy, lands like five strikes, an extra couple of strikes per minute. I kind of like that. I think Font's coming off a bit of a bad injury as well, so that's something to maybe take into consideration. I'm not one for that because we've seen Cub Swanson, who I bet on at the weekend, kind of come through a bad. I don't think Pineda looked all that good, but Swanson did what he had to do. But I like the boxing range from Font. I think he's a guy I've always kind of underestimated a little bit. But I like his volume upside here. I think he can wrestle. I don't think he should wrestle. But he is a little bit stationary with the fact that I think that maybe a big explosive shot could hit Font and could put him down. But for me, the kind of way I see this fight kind of playing out is I've got maybe Moraes early with Font winning this kind of late on. So I'm going to go a very, very, very close. Well, not close. I'm going to go a 29-28 decision for Rob Font.
Nice, bro. Look, that 100%. I'm with you on that. Z looks at that. That kind of stuff. Yeah, that gas tank is something to think about. Yeah, he could. Yeah,
Z's kind of reading my mind on that.
Yeah, and one of the things is it's a 3-round fight. You think Marlon's had quite a few 5-rounders. Maybe the 3-round might suit Marlon Moraes. He can maybe hang out 3 rounds with a high output. The 5 rounds maybe doesn't suit him, you know. Yeah. What's up, Z's? Yeah. Hey, Rogue Strummer, here we go. Play us a song if you don't mind, bro. And look, I like that pick, bro. And it's like I said, I watched the tape study. I just felt that maybe Moraes will have a point to prove, and I feel like he might be a bit gun-ho in this. But like you said, Will, one of the things he's got is he's got a lethal grappling side of things to him that he doesn't use enough. I think Marlon Moraes, if he wanted to, he could probably get the fight to the ground a bit more often and get absolute dominance. The dude is not weak, is he? I don't know. Like, that dude hasn't eaten a carb since he was 2 years old. Like, Jesus Christ, that dude's shredded. Next up, we have in the welterweight division. This is going to be wild as long as it lasts. Michel Pereira against Khaos Williams, bro. I mean, that's just an entertainment, isn't it? That's just fun. You know, I would put that a pay-per-view card, that, because you just know it's going to be crazy wild and a hell of a lot of fun. But who are you picking in the fight, though, bro?
Like I say, with this card so far, it's only Monday. I've been watching since last Tuesday. There's some fights that I've watched, there's some that I haven't. And I've pretty much avoided this one a little bit for the simple reason I don't think I've got a good read on the fight as a whole. The Michel Pereira, I think he's got a lot of skills and a lot of talent. But he's a guy that after the whole Diego Sanchez debacle, I don't think I can trust putting money down on him. And then with kind of Khaos Williams, I've kind of not been on the Khaos Williams side, and I've kind of been a little bit caught in with some of that Jamal Hill, who I bet against a couple of fights. I can see what he really is, and he's a very, very good fighter coming through. And I've bet against Khaos Williams last time out, and he's come out there and starched Abdul. Like, we all thought, we knew that Khaos had big power.
Yeah,
we knew that, but I thought, right, if he gets any exchanges here with Razak, then he's in big trouble. But he came out in that fight, absolutely leathered him with some absolutely massive leg kicks. I mean, some huge leg kicks. And he kind of, I don't want to say dropped the guard of Al Hassan, but he kind of threw something there to really get Al Hassan thinking. And then once they kind of really got into the first exchange, then that shot was beautiful. I mean, that's a big power shot. I really don't think I've got a good read on this fight. But like I say, this is one of these fights I'm going to watch throughout the week where just to see if it changes. And that's something I like doing with certain fights that I'm not sure on, and I can change it up a little bit, because I did that last week with Moicano, and I was kind of hesitant on that pick, and I eventually went with Fiziev, but I thought that Moicano could come into that fight, and I'm glad I kind of stuck with my kind of gut feeling initially in that one. But this is one that I've not watched anything on, so it's really just a pick out the blue right now. I'm probably after I come off this, I'm going to watch a couple more fights of these guys, but I'm interested to see Khaos Williams kind of go into the middle part of these rounds, because like the explosiveness is on both sides, obviously. Huge athleticism on the side of Pereira, big leg kicks. He's a big dude for that division. I don't know what let me just bring up the stats between these two and see. Where am I? I cannot see it.
Yeah, Pereira's like 6'1". He's got a 73-inch reach.
He's massive for that division. This fight's been put together fairly short notice as well. To the point that
all of them have been here.
He's had troubles making weight, and like Khaos Williams is turning back in there very, very quickly. Smaller dude, longer range I've seen there, which is interesting. But I'm a little bit skeptical at Pereira kind of getting in the middle part of this fight, the late part of this fight. So for me, I think both guys can knock each other out. I still think that. I don't think Khaos Williams is abrupt to not get knocked out here. I think I'm going to lean Pereira, but with a big asterisk for me, because I've not really watched all that much, and I probably need to go back before the UFC tenure, especially on the Khaos Williams side, to see a little bit more maybe than just the knockout blows that he's shown. But Pereira's shown that he can be exciting. I like the fact that he kind of reined that back a little bit in his last fight against Salim Madaev there, and then he got a finish in the third round. To me, Salim was a little bit of a hit and duck. He's an emotional fighter. If you can get the emotion to come out of him, he's there to be hit. And there to make mistakes, and that's what he did, and Michel Pereira kind of capitalised on that. So I think I'm going to lean Michel Pereira, but like I say, there's a fight I'm going to watch more throughout the week, and then maybe see if I can get a more concrete pick later on in the week in that one there.
Man, it's a hell of a fight, because you could literally sit here and think this is going to be a first round stoppage for someone. Because of the wildness that these two guys can do, with the power that Khaos can throw wild at you. And then you've got the kind of unpredictability that Pereira's going to come at you as well. So he can catch maybe Khaos with something unpredictable. But then again, it could be a 3-round fight where the first round's wild and the second and third just go downhill fast, because the pair of them are just gassing and blowing out their bums because they've been trying to throw too much in the first round. But for me, I'm kind of swaying towards Khaos here. And the reason for that is Pereira throws the unpredictable wild strikes, but with that unpredictability comes a vulnerability of open exposure. You open yourself up to getting hit, getting countered. And if there's someone who's happy enough to stand there and kind of see this through and go forward with the counter, you're asking for trouble. Pereira's a big dude for welterweight. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see him go to middleweight in a cup soon, like maybe in a few fights' time, because dude, like he looks like death on those scales. There's not much going off him. I just think about myself. In the last fight, he did he seemed to calm down a little bit. He was being smart with his fights because he needed the win. It felt like he was maybe being smart in tactical aspect, where he thought, I need to get a safe win, play it safe, get that victory. But at the same time, with this one, he's thinking, kind of guy's perfect for me. Khaos has shown in the regional sides, he can do decisions. He's got a grappling side of thing that he can do. He can kind of go on for 3 rounds, but he's shown in those 3 rounds in regional that he has got power. He does hurt guys still, and he's got a kind of fight IQ to calm down. I think Khaos Williams could actually catch Pereira here. I just feel that Pereira's a little bit too risky, and there's nothing wrong with being risky at all. Don't get me wrong, but with Salim, he's not going to spark you out with the power that Khaos has. They're two different kind of fighters. Pereira can't be super cautious. He can't do like a Diego and just run backwards on the back foot all the way around. Doesn't suit Pereira. It's not his style. I'm going to go with Khaos here. I think he stopped Pereira. I think Pereira's going to kind of fall into the trap of wanting to be, let's say, a showman. That's the word I want to use. Be a showman, but he's not going to end up being. He's going to end up getting himself caught there. If you're new to the channel, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, and the first time you're checking this out, hit the subscribe button below. Also, like the video. That makes a huge difference to everything in the analytics side of things. And obviously, feel free to join in the comments. Next up we have is a disgustingly fun bantamweight division co-main event. José Aldo against Marlon Vera. Will, if I said to you in 2018, José Aldo, Marlon Vera are going to scrap, you would have laughed your ass off. But it's actually happening. That is insane. Like, I heard the rumblings, the rumors on social media, then it got announced like shortly after. It's a crazy upward kind of explosion for Marlon Vera with his career. He's went from stride to stride, and kudos to him. Do you know what? I've got nothing wrong with Marlon Vera. I don't think he's the best striker. I don't think he's the best jiu-jitsu guy. I don't think he's the best kind of wrestling guy. He's just a tough guy who fights with heart and goes full bore, doesn't hold back. And he's just a tenacious man. And I give a lot of credit to him. And you know what? He's went away. He's done wins. That Sean O'Malley fight. Now, don't get me wrong. He beat Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is just a broken man. He went over on his ankle, busted his ankle up, and that was it then. And unlike Andrei Sukhantov, who's got the fight IQ of a vegetable, Marlon Vera saw the weakness, went in a bit more aggressive, knew that all he had to do was worry about that counter right hand that kind of O'Malley was setting up, and Marlon Vera was able just to start picking away. Now, with this fight, it's a bit of a different kettle of fish. You're fighting a guy who's just been a savage for however long, longer than you can imagine, But José Aldo, he is a veteran with power. He's a veteran with savagery. And it seems like, I still can't get my head around it, bantamweight suits him to the ground. Like, he looks good at bantamweight physically. He looks well. Like, he got stopped by Peter Yan, but now let's not remember, that was the 5th round. He went 5 rounds with Peter Yan. Peter Yan's an absolute murderer and a savage of a human being. Marlon Moraes, as we discussed before, I would probably have said Marlon was lucky to get that split. And I think even Dana White feels that way. That's why he got the Peter Yan fight. The Volkanovski fight at 145. So he's on a free fight skid. First time in his career, free fight skid. I think this is a suitable fight for him to get here. He's fought tall guys before. And one thing José Aldo's really superb at is that body shot. He is a clinic at doing that. And with someone like Marlon Vera, who's an ideal candidate for it, Marlon Vera going for that 11 o'clock block, I think you're going to see José Aldo set up that one, rip that body, and he's going to throw that a couple of times. And I think he's going to stop him with a body shot in the fight, man. I think if Marlon Vera throws the front kicks, he could definitely keep José Aldo to his attention, getting José Aldo down. We've seen what a nightmare it is taking José Aldo down and keeping him down. He's just an absolute beast on the takedown defense. I think on a striking format, Marlon Vera, great opportunity, man. But I've got to go with José Aldo still on this one. I still think he's got it, even though he's had 4 murders row. Man, I just think there's just watching the tape and watching the way Marlon fights and then watching the way José fights. I think that body shot is there for the taking. Rip that body a couple of times, you'll start to see Marlon start to crumble a little bit, bro.
Yeah, I really, really do think it's the right step up for Cheeto. I think he's deserved the step up. Actually, I think that I love seeing fighters like this. I've spoke about it before on here regarding fighters that made big jumps in their careers. You've had like Neil Magny, who made that step up to just winning fights consistently, and he's doing the same. And I mean, Marlon Vera, he's been beating the guys that he should be beating, because I always thought he was a little bit higher than your Frankie Sainz, your Nohila Hernandez, your Andre Rios. Then he made the step up to Song Yadong, who's another guy coming through, young guy. Can find himself, I think, a little unlucky not to get his hand raised. I do think the fight was close. But I think Vera should have been the side probably where it went in that one. Then Sean O'Malley, that to me, as soon as that fight was announced, I was like, give me plus money on Marlon Vera, because like I said, I'm a fan of Sean O'Malley. I think once he matures into the fighter that we know he can be, I think he'll be a very, very dangerous fighter and a high-ranked fighter in the UFC. But Marlon Vera, in my opinion, he's kind of got that killer instinct going on right now, where the dude is just finishing everything that's in front of him, pretty much outside the Yudong fight within the last 3 years, before losing way back, I think it was early 2018, I think, to Andrade. So he's made that step up to guys like your Linekers and your Douglas, not your Linekers, I should say, and like he's not looked out of place in there. Like in that Lineker fight, he came on in the third round there, was landing some nice shots. I think the guy's got very good. Yeah, he's got some good low kick. He's just got I think he's got a very good game. I think he's got a dangerous game where he's making big steps, and I like what I'm seeing from him. But this is a massive fight. I mean, this is if you're from South America, like he is, I think he's Ecuador, I think he's from, and you're watching these guys coming from Latin America coming up. Jose Aldo he's up there. He's probably the guy that's up there. So you're coming from down there, especially from somewhere like Ecuador, where you haven't really got a named guy from the past. It's a big name guy. So if you've got people coming from down there, Aldo is that name. You hear it a lot from the South American fighters. He's the kind of goat down there. The newer age kind of fighters. Because Aldo is, in my opinion, still one of the best featherweight fighters of all time, if not the best. And you just look at his losses. I mean, the guys that he's lost to are just belt collectors. Every one of them's had a belt pretty much in big organizations or whatever it may be. So, I mean, Volkanovski, Moraes, Peter Yan, Max Holloway, a couple of times, Conor McGregor. I mean, he doesn't lose to bad fighters. And when he's had to kind of take that, and I don't want to say this bad, like the step down, your Stevens and your Moicano, he's went in there and he's dealt with them accordingly. So I think here that I'm interested to see how Vera approaches this, because I think if Vera can't, I've got a funny feeling that Aldo's going to lead the dance and he's going to pick the shots. And I don't think Cheeto's going to be hesitant, because I think he's an aggressive forward fighter anyway, and he knows how big an opportunity this is here. But I just feel that Aldo's going to be leading the dance, and I feel like he's going to make Cheeto a little bit hesitant with his strikes. And I think that Aldo, even though he hasn't really knocked much out since the Moicano fight and the Stevens fight, he's always dangerous because of his speed, his fleet of foot, his angles that he throws, just his speed is unbelievable. For me, I'm pretty comfortable in this one here, saying that Aldo, especially in a 3-round fight, is going to be hard to beat across 3 rounds. 5 rounds, I think that Cheeto could come on strong in that spot, but it's not a 5-round fight. But I do appreciate, I do like the fact that Cheeto's getting a big jump up here. A deserved one, in my opinion. A lot of people shitting Cheeto Vera. I've never been one of those people. I think that he's always had a good kind of ceiling with his game. But for me in this one here, I just kind of like, this is actually a good point down in here. Vera always starts slow. If you start slow against Jose Aldo, you're losing a round, and then you're going to have to try and take 2 and 3 off him. I think that's going to be tough, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Jose Aldo. I think that he can knock him out, but I think Vera is very tough, and I think he's going to have to find a good shot to knock him out here. So I've got Aldo via decision.
That's why I was picking a body shot. I just think that it's not a knockout punch in itself. It's a stop your body shot. It just shuts things down, and you're good to go again in the future. Something about the way Cheeto defends himself. But like I said, bro, I've always been a fan of Vera. I thought he fights with his heart, and he fights for the right reasons, for his little girl, with that whole thing. That kind of touched you as well in the heart. So top lad. What a fun little matchup this was. Now, I was a bit good. Here we go. R.I.P. Khabib. He just lost his life due to COVID 2019 and heart failure. Tiramisu, brother. I don't think that's right. I'm going to say that's a bit of a lie. Steve Thompson wasn't there talks of him fighting Leon Edwards?
Yep.
Yeah. There was talks of him fighting Leon Edwards, which I was good that didn't happen. Leon Edwards then had COVID, which, in hindsight, was lucky with that all didn't happen. Plus, it's going to Vegas, and the amount of bloody fights that fall through at Vegas is ridiculous. We're going to fight Ireland after the New Year, which is a relief. But anyway, does Jose Aldo get cut from the UFC if he has a loss in this?
No,
I don't think you do. I think you keep Jose till retires. He's got a 6-7 fight contract. Didn't he sign that? Didn't he? He said he was going to retire. He was going to leave the UFC and go to boxing after his fight. Then somehow the UFC went, stay. He stayed, went to bantamweight, had a new little lease of life. And I think the UFC kind of still see value in him.
Yeah.
You know, he's still value for money, especially with guys of the bantamweight division who are coming up. You want to give someone like Jose Aldo to them, you know, to see what they can do with him. The UFC, yeah, I think Gustav, I think Aldo might get away with it. He might be one of those guys who could lose 3-4 fights and still stays and gets a fight where he could win. You might give him like a Cody Stamen in his next fight if he lost this one or something like that. But this Stephen Thompson, Geoff Neal fight caught me right off guard. Will did not expect this one at all. But to be fair, when you look at Geoff Neal, he is a quiet guy that goes under the radar, but is doing everything right. He's stopping dudes. He's getting decisions. He's getting submissions. So he's Brian Camozzi. Don't get me wrong. It's not something you got to write home about, but he got a submission win. He stopped Frank Camacho, who's a wild man with a beautiful stop. In fact, that Frank Camacho stoppage was filth. Belal, what a hard fight Belal Muhammad is. Belal is a horrible guy to fight because he's so talented in all areas. Got a decision win, which is great for his kind of career. Nico Price is like a hot and cold fighter. He can come on and absolutely murk guys, but at the same time, he puts himself in that place where he gets stopped and hurt himself. He did great in that one. Mike Perry, you know, again, perfect work from Geoff Neal, but he's not. The thing is, the fights he's had is not a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Tony got robbed. There we go. I am not a qualified judge, so I can't comment. But Stephen Thompson, man, he's one of those guys. He's 37 years old, and he reminds me of kind of Lyoto Machida, where his style maybe doesn't suit an older age. Because Wonderboy Thompson, his movement, his kind of explosive power suits, you know, your fast twitch muscle fiber, young body kind of thing. And I think for Wonderboy, he's kind of in a tough spot. The Vicente Luque fight was superb for him to get that win. It was great for him to get back on the saddle. The only man I bet against Wonderboy in striking match was Darren Till, and that was because I'm a fan. Anthony Pettis stoppage. Superb stuff for him, but he's never looked like Wonderboy never looks like he's lost too much of it, does he? He seems like even at 37, 36, 35, he still seems in great condition, great spirits. You know, the Vicente Luque fight, I was worried he might got hurt and stopped in that one, but after the Pettis thing, you thought, is the chin gone? But maybe it was just a circumstance of that random stoppage there. He's fighting a guy in Geoff Neal who can hurt you and can do damage. That's a good point. Wonderboy does rely on reaction time. Yeah, I still think he's very hard fighter. Yeah, he is. Do you know what? Wonderboy is really tough disease to fight well against. He's so awkward because you've got to time his entry and what he's going to do to get then your striking off. Because if he comes forward with a head, like with a oblique kick to a right straight or left straight, you're trying to then think about the check of the kick to then think about what counter strike you're going to throw. It's really difficult to fight him. So I think it's really awkward I think it's a really awkward fight to look at and pick and score. I'm going towards Wonderboy because it's a 5-round fight, and that's a huge one because Geoff's not had that kind of big stage 5-round fights. Wonderboy has, and Wonderboy can pace it to a point where he just keeps himself away from big shots. He gets caught a couple of times here and there, but Wonderboy's pretty good at stopping the takedowns. If you look at Chris Weidman, as we know, he's his brother. It's his brother-in-law, isn't it? Yeah. So he's got the good takedown defense because he's trained with Weidman for a while. As much as people maybe say Weidman should stop, it doesn't take away that Weidman is a superb wrestler. So he's learned a lot of the wrestling, grappling. I think Geoff Neal might have a tough time in it. I love Geoff Neal as a striker, but I just think it's a hard one to look good in. I think Geoff Neal looks better with certain other strikers. For me, Wonderboy is the way his style is and his movement, his angles. I think he's still got it there. I'm just hoping for 5 rounds he can keep away from that power that Geoff Neal has, because Geoff Neal just seems to have that power all the way through a 3-round fight. I'm sure he'll have it in a 5-round. I don't think he's going to be that off the gas, but man, I'm kind of going towards Wonderboy Thompson here. I still think he's got it in him. He's still an elite fighter, and I love watching Wonderboy fight as well, man. He's a savage, bro.
Yeah, Wonderboy's one of those guys I like watching myself, and he's a guy I actually like betting on. Actually, I think that because he's a guy it doesn't really get in danger that much, but not unless he gets knocked out, obviously, like the Pettis fight, which I didn't bet that fight, but yeah, it's another one of these fights. I watched this. This is the first fight I watched last Tuesday when I came home from work and tried and see if I could really nail down a side. And I watched a couple more fights yesterday because Geoff Neal was plus 110 over here in the UK.
Right.
And I liked that number. So he was an underdog now. I think, let me bring up the betting lines. I think you can still get a plus 100 in the UK. You can. But
Still good.
yeah, I was being drawn into it. But the Wonder Boy fight to me is whether he lands that shot, because we know what Wonder Boy is going to do. Now, the Pettis loss is obviously huge because I don't think that was a huge, powerful shot. I think it was caught right on the button of the chin. I think that was just the knockout spot. He just caught him there and he caught him perfectly and he was out dead. But you've obviously got Wonder Boy there who can control rounds. He picks his strikes. He makes you fit. If you're, the thing is with this as well, the Luki fight is one I watched, and I'm like, Luki to me is super hittable. And once Wonder Boy really worked him out and where he was going, he picked him apart. And I think I got Wonder Boy at like dog money in that fight. Like I couldn't believe I got that. So he was there. And now I've got this spot here. Now you have to think that Wonder Boy is going to start petering off, but he's got that kind of game which can probably translate and keep him in the big kind of top 5, top 10 of that division for years, because he's got such a diverse style with his footwork, with his feints. He makes you wonder what you're throwing. But to me, when I watch Geoff Neal, the guy is an absolute like tank. He really is. And once he gets his flow going, he is really, really hard. I think the power is all there. I think all it takes in this fight is one big power shot to maybe scramble the brain. Not even that of Wonder Boy. Again, this is another fight I'm probably going to watch a little bit more towards the end of the week again, and try and see if I can just nail it down. But because we do this so early in the week, we've got like 5 more days before the fight. So it doesn't. I usually stick with my opinion initially, not unless I see something that just jumps out at me. I'm going to go on the Geoff Neal side, which I feel like I'm betraying Wonder Boy a little bit. Because I do love watching Wonder Boy fight. I just like his style. Like the guy's one of the probably nicest guys you'll ever care to meet.
Crazy nice.
Yeah, it's like I thought before I even met, I was like, there's no way a guy can actually be that nice, stand there, spend time with you, and whatever. He genuinely is, guys. Like no word of a lie. So, I'm going to go Geoff Neal via knockout in the second round. I think that the footwork and the speed and the powers is all going to come to fruition. He's going to plant those feet and he's just going to land a kill shot at one point and put him down. Wonder Boy against Woodley. If he can catch him with the right shot, he can get hurt. But like I say, he survived in that spot as well. I'm leaning on the Geoff Neal side. I was going to bet it yesterday. I was very close to that, but then I thought to myself, I've not got a really definitive way I can plant my flag in the ground. So yeah, Geoff Neal is going to win. I'm going to edge him to win. I'm not going to edge him obviously if he's winning by knockout, but I'm picking him to win. I'm going to see if I don't think plus 100. I like a little bit more of that plus 110 maybe, but I'll pick Geoff Neal. Just when I'm seeing some comments here, I've seen that Robertson and Santos. I'm just going off Wikipedia. I think John is too. Here. So we don't know the full card structure. I don't know yet. So we'll get to that soon enough. And then Gustav there's like, how does Geoff Neal win this fight? Does he try to blitz Wonder Boy in the first round, or does he keep him more maintained pace? I think he can keep him maintained pace personally.
You have to. You can't blitz it because you can't blitz Wonder Boy can do it.
Yeah, you'll get countered with something. So I think he has to pick his shots well. He has to try and just work out Wonder Boy, which is harder said than done because he is so fleet of foot. His angles are brilliant. His attacks are a lot different to a lot of guys he will ever face. So yeah, I'm going to go Geoff Neal, but it's something I'm not super confident in at the minute.
It's hard because, I thought that about if you rock Wonder Boy, then you can maybe get your fight, the fight to go your way a little bit more. But then you look at the Darren Till fight where Wonder Boy got cracked, and Wonder Boy came kind of back too. I
still think Wonder Boy won that fight. I think I said to you when we were in Liverpool that night, I had a bet on Wonder Boy, and I was like, if that's anywhere else in the world that Wonder Boy is winning that fight, but it was in Liverpool. It's actually probably the best thing for the Liverpool fans because that was what they were all there for. But me, even when I was there and when I watched that fight back, I'm like, Wonder Boy still won that fight for me. So,
Jason Knight won his fight against Amir Khani, and he still gave it to bloody Amir Khani.
I know, fucking Amir Khani. I know, yeah.
So like I said, bro, you said about the fight card. We've only got the Wikipedia one. And so that's our main card picks. Now we're going to jump into the prelims. And like we said before, we're trying this, doing a stream now, but also what we were doing before with the recording was we're going to do like just a condensed breakdown of the prelims, kind of go over them a bit quicker, and we'll shoot through them with like a little quick mini breakdown for you all and our picks on them. All right. So again, when we're talking about them, feel free to jump in, comments below. We're not going to, stop. We're not going to not talk about it if you put a comment there. And again, hit that like button if you haven't done already. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We want this to be a community where you all talk together on the comments and converse, and also just talk to everyone and anyone. We're all here as the same. I think we just saw a glimpse of Angry Willie.
Oh no, you've not seen Angry Willie yet. John will tell you. Just take me to a hotel in Manchester, and anybody that's walking around kind of get. So.
I was going to say Manchester. We're going to go to the prelims like we said before. So we're going to start off with what we have. Just like I say, we're using a Wikipedia breakdown for now. Again, some of these fights might get pulled because if they were COVID related, they might still be. We don't know. But we've got Karl Roberson against Dalcha Lungiambula. Boom. Right. I'm not doing that again. That's it. You get one, and that is it. Will, what are you seeing? Who you thinking, bro?
I'm going to go. I went with Karl Roberson a couple of weeks ago before that fight was pulled. I'm not going to really change too much in that kind of fight-wise. I think that the better striker, the better overall striker is Karl Roberson. I think that he obviously comes from the kickboxing background. I think that he can. He's shown a little bit that he can be on the ground a little bit there, but I'm a little bit kind of curious to see. Like, I'm always a little, because we watch NFL a lot, and you've seen some players that have been really affected by this whole COVID thing. We've had some fighters that I think have looked a little bit off, and I wasn't sure, but I kind of brought that up with the Kevin Holland fight, thinking, could it play a part last week? And no, so I think it just depends what kind of athlete. If it really, because I read the Alexandre Pantoja piece, and like it really affected him, like seriously. So obviously the different size and the different effects what you've got, but. They're putting this fight together 2 weeks after it was originally slated. I'm not going to change my pick. To me, the more volume is on the Roberson side. I think he's a little bit more well-versed a fighter. If he can avoid the big power shots of Dalcha, then I think that he can get a stoppage late on in this fight. I think he can win a decision. So I'm leaning on the Karl Roberson side. I just think he's a little bit more diverse with his striking. He can hit you straight down the pipe. He can come in there with nice hooks, and he can attack the body, low kicks the lot. I think he's just a more diverse fighter at this point than Dalcha.
Yeah, man. It's Gustav, you're right there, bro. It is crazy because Bilal Muhammad you're always going to get entertainment with him. He's going to stand and bang, and if it goes to the ground, he can hold his own. He is an all-round entertainer, Bilal Muhammad, and like I've been interviewing him since Titan FC days. And he's such a great human being, and it's crazy to think that he's on the prelims. I don't know what the sketch is with that, but then again, I don't know the full card structure. We just got what we've got here. They might jig things around because it's a crazy layout of cards. I don't know how they're going to sort that timing with the TV stuff as well. You think to yourself, they usually.
I think I was actually going to say this here. I think the fights start 8 o'clock our time on Saturday night.
Yeah, they're going to have to, aren't they? Because
serious, like last Saturday, the fight started at 12:30, so Sunday morning, 12:30 a.m. Sunday morning, so a full 4 hours. That I'm kind of cheesed about that we're going to have fights start early. I'll be having some food while I'm watching some fights. Brilliant. So yeah, let's go for it. Yeah,
I'm with you too, bro. And we had the trilogy of Cage Warriors, which was
that was amazing.
I loved it. So we're going to go with like I say, I kind of see. My question is Dalcha. What's he going to look like at middleweight? What's he going to feel like at that weight class? Like, what's he? Because you got to, he probably can make that weight because he is so thick set with muscle. it's when you're fixed with muscle, you've got more water to lose, so the weight cut is possible and doable. He came in at like 204 pounds at the last light heavyweight fight that he had, but I don't think he looked undersized against Ankalaev. I don't know about you, Will, but I think he looked of the weight class of 205. You know, he didn't look too small or anything like that. So, and he's also fought at heavyweight as well, which was, you know, something else you got to look at on the EFC kind of round. So you think, what's he going to look like? Is he going to turn into a Jared Cannonier where he's going to be just a savage at 185 and just murk people to death? He could do that. But if I'm Karl, I'm going to put like a bit of a pace on this guy. I'm just going to stick him, you know, just jab and move, lots of output. Make the guy move, make the guy chase you, make the guy work for it, make him punch big and miss big and hit that gas tank quick. You know, maybe throw a couple of little body shots in, whether they're jabs, whether with the feet, and try to just wear Dalcha down that first round so that in the second, third, you really start to keep that tempo. I think you can really start to wear Dalcha down. But then again, Dalcha just throws a kind of flurries, let's say, and if he catches you, it's one of them ones you're going to get hurt and it can rock you. But if you've got the footwork, like I think Karl has got, like you say, Will, I think Karl's got good footwork. When I watched a bit of tape again on these guys. I'm going Karl as well. I think he can actually get the pace on this kid. And I'm just worried about, it's the first time at Dalcha at 185. I want to wait to see what he looks like first. Then maybe the next fight we can get a better judgment of him. Next up, we have in the women's flyweight division, Gillian Robertson against Taila Santos. I've always got a lot of time for Gillian. She's a absolute sweetheart, as me and Will know when we were hanging out with her. We spoke to her in Liverpool, interviewed her as well. So she's just a great human being, lovely human being. But you know, this was a fight that got rearranged. Was this meant to happen last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that?
So Robertson was supposed to fight KJB Lee. And Santos, I can't remember who she was supposed to fight again, but that fight got pulled in and they matched this fight up. So, a good fight.
It is a good fight, yeah. And like you say, the Taila Santos fight, she is deadly on the feet. She's a horrible girl to fight on the feet. And that's one thing Gillian Robertson, we both know, is one of her kind of weaker areas. It's her weakest area, let's just put it that way. Gillian Robertson comes in, wants to get you down straight away, shoots for the single leg and tries to fight for that grappling aspect straight off the cuff. If there's girls she's fighting who aren't the strongest strikers, she might be happy. She seems to try and get a bit of practice in on the feet. But with a girl like Taila Santos, I found that, like the Molly McCann fight, she just looked solid in that fight. Taila Santos, you know, she looked like she controlled the fight, was strong, controlled the pace, didn't look in trouble, and was putting a hurting on Molly, and Molly just did not have that answer. But then again, with Borella, it was a different kettle of fish. So I think if Gillian gets the fight to the ground, she could probably keep Taila Santos down for a bit, and she could get some dominance. You know, she's got a couple of 2-fight win streak, which is good for Gillian Robertson. But I just always worry when she fights someone who's got a bit of strength, good clinch work, good strength, good grappling. It can be Santos De Rosa was supposed to. That was it, De Rosa, because Santos should have murked De Rosa because she was going to get murdered in that fight. In my opinion, I think it's not much of a different fight really with Gillian and De Rosa swapping over. I'm actually going to go and pick Santos in this one. I just think his striking, she could keep Gillian away with the punching and the jabs and the kicks, restrict the kicks, actually keep him to knees in the clinch work on the cage. I think she can maybe outpower Gillian. So I still think Gillian's kind of grown into herself, if that makes sense. I feel like she's not fully developed her strength and grappling strength. I'm going to go Santos here. I think she can weather the storm at the first round and then start to wear on Gillian maybe second and third.
Yeah, well, we all kind of know what Gillian's kind of path to victory is here because she wants to get the fight to the ground, and if she can keep you there. What we saw in our last fight there is that she can keep you there for a full 15 minutes and win the fight through that. Her striking's piss poor, so and it looks like it's something that she really doesn't work on all that much because we've seen that she doesn't really try and test it out at all. But suppose if you're making that way up that ladder and you're facing tougher girls and you know what your path to victory is, then you go for that. You don't really go into the path where you could get kind of blasted out a little bit. And she tried that a little bit with Macy Barber, and look what happened. But what I like from her is from Robertson is the fact that she can take the fight down. She can go a full 15-minute cycle and keep you there and winning in spots there. But if Santos keeps us on the feet, then she should start to butcher Robertson a little bit. We've also seen that she can take fights to the ground. She took Molly down, 5 times, I think it was, 4 or 5 times.
We both know Molly's not really got any takedown.
Yeah, we know that. She's working on it, supposedly.
She's working on it,
but when you're getting taken down multiple times like that, then you could be in some trouble. But a tough fight. I think it's lined correctly. I think it's lined a slight lean on Gillian Robertson as a favourite. I think it's -125 here in the UK. So yeah, it's a kind of tough fight for me to play. I'm going to watch a little bit more as the fight goes on, the fight week goes on. But I think I'm leaning on the Robertson side just a little bit. But I don't know. It's a hard one here because I watched the Pereira fight and there was a couple of takedowns in there. I'm thinking, right, Pereira to me is not great. I think as a better grappler, I think Robertson is a better grappler. But if she just show a little bit of something on the feet that makes Santos even think about getting her mind off takedowns, because you know that's what Robertson's going to come and get. So yeah, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go Robertson.
Okay, nice, but yeah, like I say, if Robertson gets the fight down, like I say, she could absolutely just stay on top, and you wouldn't see. I think Taila would have a tough time of it. So I do think it'll be interesting to see that, bro, how that fight would go down. Next up, we have Jimmy Flick. This is something we were looking forward to the other week. Jimmy Flick, Cody Durden. Bro, who and why are you picking that person?
Well, I was on Jimmy Flick 2 weeks ago. And, it's one of these fights, like I've said numerous times here, that as the fight week went on, I kind of moved over to the Durden side.
Ooh.
And I think I'm this, and I feel like a little bit of a bitch for changing my pick.
It's okay, bro. Watching tape, man.
But I watched a couple of fights back, and obviously you see that the groundwork of someone like Jimmy Flick, who's very dangerous with his submissions. But when I kind of look in more at his striking's not good, like at all. And I think as an all-around fighter, that if Cody doesn't get caught in a submission, I think he rides out a decision win here. So I think I'm going to move my pick over to Cody Durden, because, like I say, I put that video out on the Monday, and by the time I got to Friday, I was like, I kind of moved over the Cody Durden side. So if I felt that a couple of weeks back before the fight got scratched, I think I should move over to Durden here, and I'm going to go with him here. I think the line is going to close in a little bit. I think it's going to be a pick 'em by fight time probably. So I'm going to go Cody Durden via decision in that one there.
Bro, I'm with you as well. I'm with Cody. I think the dude's got power in his hands. We've seen Jimmy Flick and get hurt on the feet. He has problems with that. UFC betting, if you go on UFC Fight Pass, it is the king of the cage stuff. It's not got just him. You have to go through the whole, I think you have to go into the card to find the fight. Yeah, MMA Core is another great example where you can find them. So, yeah, so you have to just, sometimes the annoying thing is they don't separate the fights. You have to go into the full fight card to then watch the tape and just get like 2 hours in.
There's also the MMA tape index that
Bet 365.
MMA Play 365 that Newsom and MMA Lock of the Night do. It's like $3 and it has every fight there that is out there. They find it for you and they categorize it. They get the fight time. It's like if you're betting on fights, like $3 a month or whatever it is nothing. Like myself, it's like nothing. So you can find it there as well.
Saves you a bit of time because I'm like you, bro. It's a pain in the ass looking for it.
It is.
It is. Sometimes you're just thinking, I can't be bothered looking for this. This is just doing my nothing. So yeah, don't feel like you're on your own there. Me and Will have done that. We've met each other and went, where the heck are these fights? It's hard to find it. MMA Play 365. That's it. So let me just jump in here. So yeah, Will, like I say, I think I like you say. On this fight here, Cody Durden, he's got that striking, he's got the hands. I think he's got that power to do it, bro, and I really do think he's going to have a good time of it. I'm just going to copy this here. I'm going to stick this in here. Can I? Oh, I can't put a comment in. Oh, chocker. I was going to put the link in, but I can't. Oh, well, sorry about that. Thought I could put the link in, bro, in the comments, but I can't do it. Yeah, just go on to, it's literally is MMAplay365.com, and you're good. you'll be fine there, bro. Go to their site, like Will said, a couple of quid, boom, done. Next up, we have in the lightweight division. Dude, this is interesting, man. Rick Glenn is fighting Carlton Minus. Now, Rick Glenn is he reminds me a little bit, Rick Glenn, of Tim Means, like the figure of him, this kind of the body type, the way he fights. But man, Carlton Minus. I don't think much of him. I don't think much of the dude that at all, if I'm honest with you. Like, I've watched his fights. I watched the Alaska FC fights that he had. Like the Justin Buchholz fight, he looked quick and sharp in that fight earlier on, but Justin Buchholz just didn't seem to have the answers for him. With Rick Glenn, you've got a dude who is an insane veteran, hitting nearly 30 fights, not just in the UFC, but just on, overall MMA, World Series of Fighting, UFC. So he's fought on kind of like good cards. He's fought some good fighters. I like what Rick Glenn can offer in a fight card. He lost that one to Aguilar, and he's been out for a little while. But overall, I think he's a good fighter, man. I think he's a tough dude to fight. I think Carlton Minus, the first maybe few minutes, he might do well. But the fight against, was it Semolina Burger, whatever his name was?
I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again, that Semelsberger.
Say that again?
Semelsberger. I'm looking forward to his next fight just to see him against a better caliber opponent and see what he's like. I think he could be good. So yeah,
because he definitely dominated that fight. It was very one-sided, and I think Rick Glenn here is going to do the same. I think Rick Glenn's just going to have a far, far greater advantage. Not only has he got the experience, I think Carlton's maybe going to come with the speed a little bit at the start, but I just think later on you're going to have a really tough time with it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go Rick Glenn, man. I know he's had a bit of time off, but I just don't see how Minus is going to get the win here.
I don't trust many fighters coming out of Alaska, I'll be honest with you. I don't like the scene that they come up in. And usually when they kind of get that step up, they usually kind of get banged out a little bit. And like I said before, Semelsberger's a guy I still think pretty raw, pretty young in the game. I think if one's a bit more experienced, you could turn into a fairly decent fighter. Rick Glenn, that's obvious. I totally forgot about him until the fight came around. It's like he's been out for over 2 years. So I'm interested to see what he's been doing in those 2 years. Is he going to finally show his age? Because how old is Rick Glenn, actually? Let me
31.
show. Is he really?
Yeah. I know. He feels like he's been around forever, but he's only 31. It's weird, bro. I thought he's like 36, 37. The dude's had a rough paper round. Like, I think his paper round was in Saudi Arabia. He looks more than that.
I literally thought this guy was like 35, 36 at least. I thought So I apologise if Rick Glenn ever kind of watches this. I did not mean that at all, because that's some straight bullshit on my part. So, I like him as a fighter. I think he's he beat a really good Gavin Tucker. Gavin Tucker is a very, very, very good fighter. He mucked that guy. So when he puts it all together, and with the experience that he has, the big fights he had before he came into the UFC, and he's in there, I think that he should roll over Minus here. I think he's got a little bit more experience. A lot more experience actually, and he's been around the bigger promotions for a long time in some decent gyms. I just think he's going to be too much for Minus. I seen this guy coming up through the kind of the regional scene, and I just wasn't really impressed there. I still don't think he's going to be. I cannot see a big jump in his game here, but for me, I'm going to go Rick Glenn there. And like Z was saying there, 5 fights of Drako and Tape Index, so Facebook page is all there. So, But I'm going to go Rick Glenn.
Nice, bro. Nice. Next up, we have Bantamweight division. We have a guy coming back for our brother, Aiemann Zahabi, against Drako Rodriguez, man we're just obviously talking about below there. Bantamweight division, man, it's a tough one because Zahabi, he's got a good skill set, but it seems that he just can't put it together, man. In this UFC tenure, it's not going too well. And he's having one issue. A big thing for me is inconsistency of the fight. But bro, who you picking? What you going for in this one?
I'm going to go Drako Rodriguez. I think that I've not really ever been sold on Aiemann Zahabi, and I've certainly not been kind of impressed with him in his kind of UFC tenure. Now he's coming off a break. When was the last time this guy fought? Actually, it'd be 2 years as well. No, so like a year and a half. since he last lost to Vince Morales, and like I say, his back's against the wall here. You're not really expected to stay around the UFC off 3 losses if you're a no-name kind of guy. And if you look at that fight with Morales, I don't really rate Vince Morales all that highly. Kind of got outstruck in that one a little bit there. And obviously there was that vicious knockout against Ricardo Ramos. I think he fought very close with kind of Vera in his debut. So, he's only been around the UFC for coming on 4 years and 3 fights. Very inactive guy. I don't see anything that really stands out as being like something that's going to win you fights decisively. I think he's going to predominantly, for the most of the time, kind of fight you to decision. And Drako, to me, one of these new breed guys coming up with 23, 24 years old, super aggressive, very dangerous on the mat, big power on the punches, with the kicks as well. You saw that against Mano Martinez. And once he locked up that submission, he just kind of worked his way until he found there, and then Martinez just kind of really he kind of ran out of air, and that was the end on there. So I like the explosive power that I see there from Rodriguez. I think he can keep that through the majority of the fight. I just think he's the more dangerous guy, so I'm going to lean on the Drako Rodriguez side.
Yeah, I'm going Drako as well. I think Zahabi, one of the issues, big thing is inconsistency. So with the inconsistency of fighting, he's going to be not as sharp. He's also, what's he taken off so much time for? 2017, 2020, coming up to 21. You fighting so regular. He's not a spring chicken. Lower weight class division. He's 33 now. Don't get me wrong. He's not like he's not skilled. The dude fights at one of the top gyms in the world with top people around him. He's got a great skill set. I just feel that when he gets into these kind of upper echelon guys in the UFC levels that we have, he just falls a bit short of it. And I think, like you say, Drako coming in, contender series, gets a stoppage there, a nice triangle, and he's got a nice bit of pace on him. He's got decision wins. He's got stoppages. He's got a great all-round skill set. He's also done boxing as a kind of separate from his MMA thing. So it's good to see that he's done other things to hone in his skill set. I think he should do well here. I think Draco's got, one thing he's got is that bit of speed. I think Zahabi's going to have a rough time. He's not going to be able to catch up quick enough with him. I think going to get a decision win here for Drako. I did miss out a fight, though. We're going to jump into it now. Apologies for that, bro. Tafon and Chukwi against Jamie Pickett. If you don't know who Nchukwi is, he is just a slab of bricks. I don't think he's the dude's just jacked, and he's had bugger all experience in MMA. Comes along, hits you like a freight. He's 4-0. The dude is 4-0. So you're already going to have question marks over a dude who's 4-0 in the UFC, making his debut. He got the ultimate. I'll be honest with you, Willow. Can we just both admit that Al Matejevova, whatever his name was, 10 series, he was gopping, absolutely gopping. They literally brought him in as a lamb to the slaughter. If you look at the William Knight fight that Tafon had, it wasn't a great fight. It was exchanges. He got that stoppage, which was. I think he need his opponent, fell to the ground, landed some strikes on, and it looked like the guy kind of went out a little bit. He's got big power. Looked like Melvin Manhoef a little bit with the shorts. I think it was either he wore the shorts or the other dude was wearing the kind of gladiator style shorts. But man, Tafon has got power. He's dangerous. Jamie Pickett, though, he is an all-rounder. He's got everything about him as a skill set. And if you watch some Dana White Contender Series, which you can jump on to watch anyway, against Patty, he looked good in that fight. Jehovis Patty. He didn't look overly impressive in my opinion. I just thought that Pickett just looked a better fighter. One of my big kind of asterisks is Pickett. That was his third shot at the Dana White Contender Series. But before that, he lost to Charles Bird. He got stopped. He lost a decision as well to Solari. I'm a bit worried about Pickett. I think he's got an all-round good skill set, but I just don't know if he's UFC caliber. Free shot at the Dana White Contender Series. That says a lot when you're not beating, because the guys on the Dana White Contender Series, let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, they are not UFC fighters. They are regional dudes getting matched up. and he had 3 strikes at that. He was lucky to get that through. I think Pickett's going to end up getting hurt here. I think Tafon's not anything special, but I think the pure size and strength of him, he'll actually probably stop Pickett here with like a good like stoppage, a good highlight reel for Tafon. The UFC are 100% wanting to build the dude. They 100% look at Tafon as a guy they could use, especially when COVID eventually calms down. Africa bound, African card. You can throw this dude on. I'm going Tafon. Not overly sure, bro, but I'm going Tafon, bro.
Yeah, I think is this down to 185, so he's making the move down to 185. That's interesting.
Shoots him, I think.
Yeah, so that's interesting because he's a big, thick set guy, obviously. Yeah. Like you said, very, very inexperienced, and like I say, that Matavau guy, I think he lasted a lot longer than a lot of people did. But eventually, when he got caught, and he was out for minutes afterwards. After that, so big power. Pickett to me has obviously got a lot more experience. He's got more big fight experience going through the Dana White Contender Series. I know he lost a couple of times, but he's obviously rebounded, went out there, worked his arse off to get another opportunity, and then when he did, he kind of took it this time with kind of both hands, and that's kind of what you need to try and do on that Dana White Contender Series. You need to show Dana that you can move into the UFC and you can do that, and he did that against Patty in that fight there where he knocked him out in the second. But like I say, that night I remember watching the Dana White Contender Series and thinking about Nchukwi, like if this guy starts putting it all together, I mean, and he's going to be like having to. I was kind of thinking this on Saturday as well with Chase Hooper, like these young guys are being, he's like 25, 26, they're being thrown in there and they've got a lot of things to learn. But this guy's got power like that can turn your lights off. Now, if I know you've got like Hooper who can roll to his back and it looks like he can get a submission most points, but to me in this one here, I think I'm leaning in Nchukwi. I know there's some guys that have messaged me on the Pickett side, the big odds on his side kind of appealing. But to me, when I watch this, I just like the explosiveness of Nchukwi. But I'm interested to see him at 185. I'm interested to see how that translates, if that's going to be his weight class.
He might be faster. He might throw quick. Yeah, so, the power transfers too, bro.
Yeah, I've got Nchukwi in that one.
Nice, yeah. It is one of those interesting ones, and I think like you might see as well, because some of the guys do that. They get on a Dana White Contender Series knowing they're going to drop down anyway, because they just want to get that opportunity. On the regional scene, you'll see guys purposely fight a weight class above because it's a tough cut, and for the money you get, it's sometimes not worth it, and they can get away with it on the regional scenes. Next up we have is a catchweight fight at 195. Duron Win is taking on Antonio Arreo. This is a fight I'm not overly excited about because I'm a bit like Duron Win is like a hobbit who needs to be like down at 145, but the dude just isn't. But I'm going to quickly jump on this, bro, and I'm going to go Arreo straight away. Going Arreo straight away. But, bro, I want to give my reason in a sec, bro. I want to see your breakdown who you're picking.
I'm on the Royal side as well, but this is another fight that I've not looked a hell of a lot into, and I will as the kind of week goes on. But like I say, Duron Win's kind of like a beach, like a bowling ball, pretty much. He's wide. There's nothing to him. And like I say, I think he was another one that was rushed into the UFC too quick for his own good, and he's shown that he's super hittable. The guy obviously needs to kind of use his wrestling, but there's some fights. I mean, I watched the Eric Spicely one there where you're thinking, right, use your takedowns in this guy. I know he's dangerous with his submission, Spicely, and that fight just stayed on the feet. He had really good output, landed a lot of big strikes in that one. But and then Duron went to the Dan Stewart fight. He decided he wanted to use that wrestling and still lost the fight. He got kind of outstruck and kind of gassed out a little bit and still lost the fight. And then the Mearshart one, he just kind of got hit up a little bit and he got picked apart. Arroyo, to me, he's got that big power. He's pretty much a big kicker. I remember that coming off the Dana White Contender Series where he got that submission in that one there, but he's got some big kicks and big striking. But he might be a little bit, if he can maybe be held down on the ground a little bit. I always thought in the Manise one, I thought that if he could keep this on the feet, he could win. And he couldn't really do that. He got taken down a couple of times there. So Duron Win's going to be open to getting takedowns. It's whether he decides to use it. I think he could possibly catch a kick of Arroyo, and if he can get him to the ground in it, I think he can win out rounds. So I'm leaning on the Arroyo side, but I've watched one fight of each guy, so I can't really take too much away from that.
Yeah, you got your UFC Bet Experience commenting the same thing down below there, bro, about the kind of takedown things. He is a big kicker, Rail, and I think if I'm a Rail, I'm going to use those kicks to my advantage. I'm going to aim high and heavy because you don't have to hit high with the win, so it's not a big head kick he's going for. He's going to throw a head kick, throw it hard and heavy, make Duran put his arms up and hit those arms. Because when you're blocking a head kick, I don't know if anyone at home's ever blocked a head kick in mixed martial arts training. Head kicks hurt. Kicks hurt your arm, your forearm, your bicep, tricep. The whole lot just goes a bit number every time. That takes a bit of the strength away. So when you're grappling, that dead arm really has a tell. I actually thought it was impressive that he survived versus Munoz on the ground. Yeah, gas tank is a concern for him. Maybe 10 pounds up, he'll be better. Well, that's the thing with the wrong win. Gas tank worries as well, Z, man. That's one of the things you've got to look at. So that's why I'm going towards Rio. I think the pair of them haven't got the best gas tanks. I think that Duran Win's going to go for those overhands because he's short. It's a standard throws. If I'm a rail, I'm using my knees. You use your knees against Duran Win. He's there for those knees, straight to the body or up straight down the pipe, up to the chin. You can combat when someone throws an overhand right to you or an overhand left. The overhand, when it comes over, when you throw a knee to the body, the best way to describe it is imagine turning a big steering wheel. You'll have your hands here and you do this. So if you're throwing the right knee, you go over across the top like this. This here is a block to an overhand right. So if Duran Win goes and throws the combination, you throw that combination, you got your hands here, you turn the steering wheel, throw the knee to the body, and that's where you're going to get the damage. I think Areo, if he uses the kicks right, he could actually use a kicking game against a wrestler in the right way just because of the size and power he throws him at. We've seen he hits heavy and he does throw good kicks. So that's why I'm swaying towards Areo. Next up we have, dude, I like this, man. Sijara Eubanks, Pani Kinzad. Liking it, bro, because Pani is growing. Pani is developing, getting better. That girl has come on leaps and bounds, man, since her UFC kind of 10 years started. Sijara Eubanks, you got to remember, she is no spring chicken. Again, like, I've never really rated her, to be fair. She's 35 years old. She's not a girl who's going to blow me away. Caitlin Vera just absolutely got the W on that one back in September. She just didn't have an answer for it, let's be brutally honest. I wasn't overly panicking. Zad, though, for me, is looking great. She's developing all the time. The fight against Betch, she looks solid in that fight. Jessica Rhodes-Clark, she's growing. I'm going Penny Kenzad, man. I think she's got the strength. She can match Eubanks in the strength department, the grappling side of things. I think Penny could stop the takedowns in that side of it. And on the output, man, Penny's starting to put those combos together, those hands together really well. Man, Penny Kenzad for me all day long. I think she can have a good go here. Penny, look at this. Season May. Penny plus 135. Good googly moogly. That is some good numbers there. Get your dollar bills and throw them on. Woo!
Hey, I'm on the Pani side as well, actually. I think there's a decent spot for her. Like I say, this is one that I when I seen it, like Z's bringing up all the points there, a couple there that speed, length, technique, youth, improving, gas tank. We've knew about Pani for, geez, how long have we knew?
Yeah, I've been interviewing her like outside of the UFC, years, yeah.
Yeah, and she came through obviously the Cage Warriors kind of system there, and she got the belt, got into Invicta, kind of worked her way through some losses there, and then she's starting to put it all together. And from what I've heard, like in I think she's in Sweden or she's in Denmark. Denmark, she's at Rumble Sports.
Yes, she's at Sweden but goes across Denmark. She travels between.
She goes between that, and she's been like leveling up big time. She's been like putting in the work and leveling up big time from a person that actually from Scotland that's recently went over to Rumble Sports that let me know about that, saying that she was in there and like she was just rinsing it out, and she was really looking like she was leveling up. And I think she's got a suitable opponent here in Eubanks, who, like I say, I always seem to go against her, and she seems to pull out her arse. She did it against Betch. Sorry, I think I picked her against Betch, and then Betch managed to pull it out. And I think that's what Piani's kind of game here is, just outlast her. I think if she keeps on the feet, I think she's a better striker. I think she lands more. Sijara's obviously got a little bit of power. She's a very dogged game compared to herself. But I think if she can mix it up, be a little bit unpredictable, and like I say, I think she's a good striker. I think she's the better striker. I think over 15 minutes, I think she just outlasts her and outlands her. in this one here. So, like I say, Z's saying everything you really need to see in this here. Hand position, feint, striking. Like he breaks fights down better than I can say, pretty much, put it that way. So I'm on the panicky hands. I'd say I think it's a good spot as an underdog here. It's something I'm looking at. I still got to do my due diligence a little bit and watch a couple more fights. So I'll see how I am maybe a day or two and see where the line's at and go from there. But I'm on panicky hands for that one.
We've got the last fight to break down, a quick look at. I'm surprised this match got made up, to be honest with you, bro. I don't know about yourself. Belal Muhammad taking on Diego Lima. I'm surprised with this matchup. What are you looking at, bro?
Yeah, I think it's it was said earlier on, like, Belal's just a good professional. And that's what he is. And in spots like these, I think that he reigns supreme, honestly. You see him with the Sato fight and just really anybody that's the people that have beat him have been guys that have been really, really good within the division. Obviously, Vicente Luque's made his way out into the top 10 there. Who else was that off the top of my head? I cannot remember.
Geoff Neal.
Jeff Neal, sorry, yeah.
Alan Joban.
He's a hard guy.
Alan Joban was his debut, though, to be fair.
Outside of the Luque one where he got starched in the first, he sticks around. He's solid in every aspect. There's nothing in his game that is really off. And the guy can take a shot and just keep on trucking. Diego Lima, to me, is not super dangerous, but if you get him to the ground there, he could catch you. Of course, he knocked out Charles Laprise in the first round there with a big shot. You always have to kind of take that in consideration. But he's a guy that I look at him and thinking, right, how does he beat Belal Muhammad here? And I'm like, not unless he catches someone with a shot. We've seen that he has been caught in the past. But I just think Belal Muhammad's going to run through him in 15 minutes. There's too much output. He's just too good a pro. I think he's just better than Diego Lima at this point. So I'm on the Belal Muhammad side. His betting line is minus 300 here in the UK. Maybe a little bit higher there. So to me, I like that as a parlay piece. I wouldn't mind it coming down into 200s, but I think it's being bet up the other way in the US, which will probably rectify over here in the UK very, very soon. So I could easily see myself maybe betting Belal Muhammad in some spot here, maybe via decision, or I have to have a little look there. But I like Belal Muhammad. I think that he's just got a really, really good opportunity to kind of keep this win streak going and then get a jump up against opponent there and going into 2021. So, and plus he's one of the funniest guys, I think, on Twitter as well. He's hilarious. So, and his podcast is really good as well. So shout out Belal Muhammad. I like him this weekend.
Yeah, defo. Hey, just my 2 cents. Great to have you here, and the 90s. Great to have you guys on board. Yeah, bro. I'm putting towards Belal Muhammad as well. I just think it's a little bit of a mismatch in my opinion. I thought Belal's on a good win streak, but I think he should be fighting a higher quality guy than Diego. Diego's fought guys like Court McGee, got the decision there. The Luke Jimura fight was a fight. The Chad one. We looked at Chad. I thought Chad could have won, but Chad's, I think he's been cut since then. I just feel like Diego's.
I think he's a policeman now.
Oh, there you go. See what I mean? Oh, yeah. I think I saw that on social media somewhere. You know, I just feel like with Diego, he's just of a lower level welterweight. I just think he's hittable, definitely for someone like Belal. I'm actually going to go Belal stoppage here. I know Belal usually does the decisions, but I think he could certainly stop someone like Diego Lima, and it would help him big time. I'm going to go with Belal Muhammad via stoppage, man. And I just think he's got great gas tank, way better technician on striking. That's the whole boy Duke Rufus there. UFC bet. Belal by KO would be a prop bet to sprinkle the odds. Should be high. Yeah, bro. Look at that. Two of us are in sync. I love that, brother. So I'm going Belal the stoppage, man. Definitely on that one. That is our picks. Now, I want to know what your picks are, ladies and gentlemen. If you've not let us know already, feel free to comment below. If you've not hit the like button and subscribe button, as always, we're going to drum that into you. Hit the like button and subscribe button. Huge difference it makes. And, this is our last one before the end of the year. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone, even you guys right now that are joining the conversation. Our subscribe numbers have went up. We've had, we had COVID hit us, which was obviously a quiet period for the podcast because there's nothing to do. But since then, we've been back on it. It's been great having every one of you joining in, week out, just honestly, I cannot put into words how much I appreciate it. I hope you all, whether you celebrate Christmas or have a festive time, I want you all to enjoy it with your friends and families. It's huge time of year, and honestly, guys, you're the best. It means a lot that we have you all on board. Me and Will, like you say, we're doing this year. We're going to next year do streaming stuff more often, and we're trying to put more out there. It's huge for us all to have you guys here. And Will, I'm sure you'll share the same sentiment, and then you'll go into your bets as well, brother.
Yeah, just like nothing's ever really given on YouTube. You kind of have to earn it a little bit, and that's like I say, Z's, who's probably in the chat there. He commented on my very first video made on YouTube coming up 8 years ago. So, and you have to work for absolutely everything on YouTube. And there's people that have got more than you, and people that have less than you. But the people that put in the week consistently, I think they deserve to just like get some recognition behind it. Like we've got 12,000, 100.
Yeah, 1,200. I wish it was 12,000.
Yeah, that's still amazing. Like I'm on my own personal channel, I'm nearing 4,000, and you have no idea. Like I've had to work my arse off for 8 years to get that for us. So nothing's ever given to you. You have to kind of earn it a little bit. So we appreciate you guys that stick around with us. And I've been off a little bit. I've had problems with technology, and I've had work things, and there's always something. But John's kept it going. So a big shout out to John for kind of keeping that going. I really like this kind of setup with the streaming. I'll be honest with you. Interacting with the fans a little bit more, so that's something that's definitely going to come into effect in 2021. And just a big thank you. Now let's get into the betting side. I have no bets down so far. I'm looking to really finish this year out, so I'm on a pretty good streak. I don't really want to jinx by saying how many I'm on, but I'm on a good streak since a couple of months, and I'm up fairly decent for the year. So last week I wanted to be a bit more aggressive, but I think it was a show that was tough to read in some spots. I bet Jacare. I thought he looked great through the week. I liked what I seen from him. I liked what I heard from him, and then he just got beat by the hungrier guy, it looked like. Big power from there, from the bottom there. Bet Cub Swanson. 2020, and you're betting Jacare and Cub Swanson. It's a little bit risky. But one came through, one didn't, and then I had a parlay of Davis and Figueiredo and Morgan Shari from Cage Warriors. Morgan won his fight pretty comfortably. A guy we'll probably see in the UFC towards the end of 2021, I reckon. And then I had Davison. So I made a profit, slight profit, but it's adding on to the good run I'm on at the minute. And I'm just hoping to keep that going and finish strong for the year, and then moving into 2021, try and have another year in the green. But as of this card, I have nothing so far. You've seen some of the spots that I do like which I already mentioned. I kind of like the Jeff Neal one, but I'm not sure on that. I need to watch more. Rob Font, I actually pretty like. I think that at dog odds, I'd love to see that line kind of go up a little bit, but I'll take a plus 130 if I can get it. Panik Janzad, like Z said, is a side I like to kind of be on in this one. I think it's a good spot, a good number. And that one, Bilal Muhammad, parlay piece. Parlays is something that has been great to me. It's always been something I've been decent at. So if I can find a spot to put Bilal in,
Panny and Bilal, would that not work out well?
Yeah, it might do. I don't know. I like Aldo. I do like Aldo's number. I like it a little bit lower, obviously, but it's only kind of really going up. But we're still at Monday, so hopefully the kind of people on the Cheeto side maybe bring that line down a little bit. Some big better out there. Dan Levy, if you want to jump on that and just change that to betting line, that'd be great. If he's on the Cheeto side, I doubt he's that, but because I know he's a big fan of Cheeto, but I don't know about that. But like there is some spots here. If you can get a good read on like the Khaos Williams Pereira fight, if you can try and get dog odds on either side there, then and if you like the spot, then go for it. I wouldn't mind Pettis if we could get lower, but I don't think that's going to happen. What else? Like I say, I'm not the greatest prop better, and I wish it's something. It might be something I'll look into in 2021 and try and get better at. If you look at my record just overall, you'll see straight picks. I'm okay at. I find my dogs there, parlays I'm really good at. Prop bets I'm not good at. So, but yeah, there is some spots. The ones I am looking at predominantly right now is Rob Font, Panik Janzad, Jose Aldo, and then if I can maybe read into more of this main event, maybe a bet on Jeff Neal, but maybe it's best to kind of stay away in that one there, in my opinion. But like I say, we're at Monday. Drako Rodriguez actually might be a guy I could parlay up. If I just need to kind of get more confidence in him in that spot and see what's
his number at the moment.
I need to see what Zahabi's been up to pretty much as well. So
what's Drako at the moment? What's his numbers?
Yeah, he's actually minus 180, minus 180 here in the UK. So that's, you put him together, him and maybe Bilal, you're probably close to around plus money-ish. So yeah, I'm that's kind of where I'm looking at. But like I say, it's Monday. I don't want to throw all my eggs in kind of early on in the week here. I'm just going to try and watch a little bit more, read a bit more, see some more interviews, see what people's been up to a little bit, and then kind of go from there. So but I'm probably going to make bets on Rob Font and probably Pani Khanzad at this point right now. I'm pretty set on them too. Going to watch a little bit more and then kind of decide from there.
Nice. Just my 2 cents, putting out the feelers there as well, as you can see. Yeah, he's not sure on Font Moraes, and we said there Pereira and Khaos, bro. You said it yourself. It's a tough one. It is a tight one. Both fights, I think that both fights are fun fights to watch, man, and they're going to be hard to kind of get right on the button. Sometimes it's safe not to go near them. If you're not 100% confident, it's always safe not to go near them. Lean towards Font, though, yeah. Again, if you ever want to put the money down, it's sometimes worth just looking at the tape again a little bit. I can't wait for Christmas because I'm not going to be doing tape study for a bit, so I get a couple of weeks off. I can't wait for it.
See, I'm going to say that, but I guarantee you by Boxing Day, I'm going to be watching.
After Boxing Day, yeah. I will be after Boxing Day. I'll be jumping ahead.
Because we've got 3 fight cards in, like, I think in a week. And I can guarantee, I'm saying that I'm not going to watch any fights till January the 1st, but I can guarantee you by Boxing Day I'm watching something. So
I'll probably put it as well, I know.
It's just, hopefully
I get at least a week off.
Yeah, well, at least from after I get my one out tonight, that's probably going to be me. And then I might do a little bit something on my channel just to finish off the year. We might do something a little bit towards the end of the year, just to our favourite knockouts, favourite submissions, favourite fights, favourite moments, whatever it may be. We might do that. Keep an eye out for that, guys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a little bit of a break.
Yeah. And UFC betting last one there, Marlon, Aldo, and Drako.
Yeah, that would give you some decent money. That would, especially, well, it depends. He's probably betting them straight, but you're probably getting, you're getting decent lines on all of them. I like the Aldo one, and I like Drako in a parlay, in my opinion. But all the best to you, mate. I hope you cash those if you put some money down on it.
And that is the podcast. This is the last one this year. Like I said before, thanks very much for tuning in. It was great fun breaking this card down. We'll be back, obviously, over Christmas period for something a little bit more relaxed. It'll be more open and relaxed. And obviously, we'll do more breakdowns next year. But thank you again for joining in this year, guys and girls. And Will is going to do the technical bits to shut this down because I don't know what to do.
Yeah, all the best, guys. Just like I say, a happy Christmas, happy New Year. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year for myself, and just thank you for the support and enjoy the festive times when they come ahead. Take care.